we are going to talk about what's happening with Dune. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I had some pretty bad situations in Dune, trying to play solo, having a very bad time getting ganked, and some of the Australian servers, apparently, from what I've heard, I don't know personally, I only got to play on the Australian servers, but apparently some of the Australian servers were the worst for that kind of behaviour. They call it the Scout Rocket Meta, and I think I lost 3 different ornithopters, died multiple times, getting ganked over and over again out in the deep desert. But guess what? It was not all in vain. We have a message from the creative director on PVE and PvP. Let's get into it, shall we? Because this is pretty exciting for me, because I had a very bad time indeed. Hello sleepers, I wanted to write something that acknowledges and addresses the comments around the endgame of Dune Awakening, while also providing context for what we were attempting. So let me start by stating this unequivocally. We want PvE players to be able to play the endgame and have access to the content of the endgame. Awesome. Our goal is not to force PvE players to interact with the PvP system that they may have no interest in. Right. I definitely didn't have any interest in that type of PvP system, that's for sure. Our goal is not to force PvE, yet that's just reiterating there again in bold and caps. Great. No in-game plan survives first contact with the players. Mark Twain probably. Okay, a little bit of humour, I like it. We still believe in the core concept of the deep desert, an endlessly renewing location that resets every week and creates an activity loop for great rewards. The tension of heading out there, head on a swivel, eyes peeled for foes as you enter the most dangerous part of the most dangerous planet in the universe, Arrakis. So yeah, no, that I can completely understand where they're coming from there. Our wish was that players would embrace this loop, forming guilds to work together to overcome the bleakness of the deep desert. But as Stephen King says, wish in one hand, shit in the other, see which one fills up first. One of my hands is overflowing right now, and sadly not with wishes. Oh my god, that is so funny. Some areas of the deep desert will now be flagged as partial warfare PvE, while the deepest parts of the deep desert will remain as they currently are, high reward, high risk areas. Yeah, see, he's the scouts here. I'm having PTSD right now. The reality is that players are reporting being cut out of the endgame due to the extremely competitive nature of the deep desert. Yes, I can vouch for that. Starting soon, some areas of the deep desert will now be flagged as partial warfare PvE, areas where players will be able to explore testing stations and harvest T6 resources without the threat of conflict they may not want. That is absolutely exactly what I want. Or don't want. Anyway, it's important to note that the top tier of the endgame is balanced around guilds and groups, so people will still find it grindy if they play solo. Right, so I think they're talking about like getting the final tier schematics, those types of things, if I had to guess. So yeah, lens rag control points. Yeah, lens rag control points, shipwrecks, and the largest spice fields within this region of the deep desert will remain War of Assassins PvP flagged. Yep, so the biggest groups will still fight over the biggest spice flows and those shipwrecks. Yeah. Yeah. The deepest part of the desert was. The deepest parts of the desert will remain as they currently are. High reward, high risk areas. Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. The beauty of the deep desert design with weekly resets and renewals is that we can iterate and experiment with different layouts and setups to really help us tune it. As we make changes, we will send out surveys to help us capture your thoughts. Oh, that's good. So they're going to an extra step to get the feedback streamlined and through to them as quickly as possible. So that sounds good. PvP itself has plenty of issues that need to be addressed, yes. We're taking steps in that direction with our first changes to Scout Ornithopters. PvP itself has plenty of issues. Scout Ornithopters with rocket launchers attached will have their speed, maneuverability reduced. Rockets fired from Scout Ornithopters will have increased heat generation. Very good. Thrusters will provide a max speed bonus regardless of wings, ensuring that thruster-equipped scouts will be the fastest vehicles in the endgame. Right. So I think what they're trying to do is get the Scout Ornithopters to be what they were basically desiring them to be used for, which is basically a get in and get out fast type of vehicle, not an assault vehicle that can be exploited, I guess is what they're trying to say. A new T5 infantry rocket launcher will be added to help improve the dynamics of vehicle or ground combat. So you'll be able to retaliate from the ground. There are additional changes to mechanics like respawn timers, vehicle storage tools, hand scanners, and other mechanics that we see being abused in the deep desert. Okay. Right, so that might be limitations to when you can use your vehicle storage tool and how often, maybe? Something like that? Who knows? The intended dynamic of deep desert PvP in Dune Awakening is that unless you really mess up, you always have the option to retreat in good order with whatever you've managed to claim so far. If you're smart and vigilant, you never have to fight if you don't want to. Thank you. If you run, you'll have to call a halt to whatever task you were pursuing, but that should always be a choice. PvP should happen when both parties decide they want to fight over the location. Yes. Nothing worse than just going in, I just want a chill time. I don't want a PvP. I just want to go and get some spice, contend with the worm and whatever other things the environment can throw at me, but I don't really want to deal with other players. The deep desert becomes a place where people battle it out over specific objectives, unburied testing stations and shipwrecks, resource-focused islands, and of course spice blows. Yep. Finally, the intended dynamic has always been combined arms. We have infantry and ground vehicles and air vehicles, and they're all supposed to have clear roles, clear strengths and clear counters. Thopters will always be incredibly important for crossing the desert, but they shouldn't also be the dominant force in actual battles. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. We're planning to make more changes to the deep desert to accommodate ground battles and reinforce the use of player builds. Nice. Now let's talk about the Landsrad. As a system, it is an activity driver that is designed to promote the conflict between the factions. This is something I haven't hardly interacted with at all in the game, and that's mostly because the game really doesn't direct or point you to it. I hope they find a better way to integrate that into the game so people are directed more to the Landsrad and the benefits of it, while providing gold thresholds for individuals and groups to work towards getting personal rewards. And the Landsrad should be doing that for everyone who wants to participate in the Elder game, be they PvEer or PvPer. The Landsrad should be giving you things to do every day and every week. Right, okay, so like your daily and weekly tasks. It's nothing new. From a design perspective, we've seen daily or weekly quest systems in games for a long time, yes. Our approach was to try and frame this system around the greater politics of the Dune universe by having players engage in activities to earn the votes of the various Landsrad houses. Okay, makes sense. Let me acknowledge that as an activity driver, the activities it asks you to participate in are simplistic and a lot of item hand-ins and crafting requests. It's true. That's because the system is in the earliest launchable iteration. Okay, so it's going to get deeper. The activities that the Landsrad asks you... Yeah, okay, cool. The Landsrad is an umbrella for all in-game activities. What form do these in-game activities take? More dungeons with bosses that drop in-game loot, more contracts that require specific tasks to be undertaken, more specialized delivery tasks that include components that cannot be stockpiled. If we ever add raids to the game, there will be a task on the Landsrad to complete those raids. There's a framework that holds the in-game activities in place. Okay, I can see where they're coming from with that. We will keep adding in-game activities and more PvE content to the game going forward, both free and paid content in the form of DLCs and expansions. We're addressing some key flaws in the Landsrad design, the inability to hand in items after a square has been completed, and the rapidity at which some squares are turned in. Yeah, I mean, they were getting done like immediately some weeks. Stockpiling is currently rewarded, but that is not our intention for the system, and we will make some changes to address it as best we can. Okay, Landsrad rewards are supposed to reflect the endgame tiers of progression. This includes the vendors, which can be unlocked for the entire faction through participation. This is the intention, but once again let me acknowledge that this isn't exactly in the right place. The Landsrad will be updated to provide micro rewards for solo or small group players. Thanks for listening everyone, and apologies for the confusion. Once a live game launches, it becomes a collaborative effort between the developers and the players to make it something amazing. We appreciate your feedback on what we hope is the beginning of a long journey together. Bear with us, our intention is to be clear and open in our communications and to make Dune Awakening a game that everybody can enjoy. I hope this helps. Joel, you nailed it. I literally, the other day, just bricked up all my bases, put my batteries in for the 20-day long sleep, and I've just said, that's it. I'm not coming near this game until they fix it. And they did, within 24 hours. So, I guess I'm happy about this because I, as I said, lost 3 Ornithopters. I was ganked multiple times. Often times where I wasn't set up for combat, I was just going in with the bare minimum because I didn't want to lose anything, because I knew what was going to happen. And then I did. I did die. So there was no competitiveness to it. It was just like, I just want to make sure I lose the least amount of stuff if I get hit, and that's what was happening. So the first few times I lost very significant stuff. 2 Assault Ornithopters, and I think 2 Scout Ornithopters as well. So pretty bad times were had all round. So me personally, am I excited about these changes? Absolutely yes. This means I can keep playing the game. It means I can get involved in the end game without any threat of gameplay or scenarios that I'm just absolutely not interested in at all. But then if I do want to dip my toe in PvP, I can go and have a look at it, and I know where to find it, which is awesome. So yes, I think this is a huge win for the devs. It's amazing how much they've taken on board the feedback and acted upon it, which credit where credit is due, and I applaud them for it. And of course Joel's Australian, so straight away we know he's awesome. So yeah, thanks for that, devs, and this ensures that not only will more people be able to play the game, but more people will be able to return to the game when they want to, which is fantastic. So thanks for that, and that's good news all round. So we might be playing some more Dune after all.